Coach me. I don't know how to open our stand.
Oh, I said I should just put her face in there.
My face? Because I can
No,
never
Jason.
remember the place that.
I don't know why I poked her like 100 times.
What?
Every time she was like,
Rosie! It's the
2,
bathroom!
4 nights up.
It's my birthday.
Your birthday?
Oh, on the 24th of 97.
No. February 4th, 1997.
No, Rosie was right.
I
It's
was
the
right.
24th
Oh,
of
what?
97,
Yeah.
September.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense. It could have been the 24th of any month.
Hers was actually really smart.
Yeah.
Like,
Mine
there
was
was a
way
good thought
better
put
than
in.
yours.
Hers is actually really
So this is a
Like, mine was way better
Notice
than
I'm not
yours.
passing out
I
anything,
didn't
because you're
even
not gonna write
Like the
anything.
24th of
This
what
is
month?
for you to test your own
point.
understanding. Wait. You have an exam 1 week from tonight,
I know.
and the material that has to do with taxonomy is gonna be presented very much like you're gonna see up here, except you're actually gonna be looking at the microscope. So this is practice to see how you're doing with your studying. First of all, when you see these organisms on the exam, they will be in order, that is, in the order that we saw them in the laboratory. So what was the first group of organisms that we started looking at where you had to identify something by sight? Okay, so what's the taxonomic rank of cyanobacteria?
bacteria.
No, the taxonomic rank is cyanobacteria. That's a phylum. What's the domain?
Bacteria.
Is there a kingdom? No.
What did you say? You're gonna have them in order of how they're arranged on the website, or how we talked about it? Or
How we talked about them. Rather than having them just randomly mixed up all over the place, they're in order as you encountered them.
And then you're gonna give us like the list of.
I'll tell you what I want you to know. I mean, I'll tell you what I want you to tell me.
Right, but are you giving us a word bank of like these?
I am.
Okay.
The word bank does not have the words in taxonomic order.
Right.
The word bank has the words in alphabetical order.
Okay.
There are 3 columns, no species names.
Okay.
But at least you don't have to worry about spelling. Or pronunciation, because you don't have to say them.
Or like making up completely random words that don't exist.
You could do that. If you make a completely random species name, I'm not going to be pleased, but I will have to look them up.
It might be good to relax.
Okay, so these are cyanobacteria. What's the genus? Oscillatoria. Here we are, still in the same phylum. The phylum is cyanobacteria. We got the domain bacteria. There is no kingdom. The phylum cyanobacteria. What's the genus? How do we know it's nostoc and not anabatum? Because you're looking at the edge of a glycocalyx. And nostoc, they form these funny little balls. Actually, the balls can get quite large. Sometimes they're about the size of marbles. And then you have these chains of cells inside. So that's nostoc. What's the genus here? Anabatum. This one is the only cyanobacteria, it's the only cyanobacteria slide we have that has a species name on it. So this is Anabatum flossaqui, and it's a helical mutant. What is that cell? It's a heterocyst.
Yeah.
The heterocyst, the aconites are long, they look like acorns. There aren't any on there. And what are those guys? That's spirulina. Not spirochetes. Spirulina. This is spirulina. All of these were cyanobacteria. I don't have a picture of Gleocapsa. Okay, now we have changed domains. So we've moved into the domain Eukarya. It's not the domain. But everything else that you have to look at is in the domain Eukarya. It's like, whoa, you only have 2 domains, bacteria and Eukarya, because we don't have any archaea to look at. We should fix that sometime. What is the phylum?
Oh wait.
Uh-oh, Mycota. This is Mycota. Therefore, the sexual spores that you see there are what kind of spores? Spores. Remember that the sexual spore type and the phylum name begin the same way. Rosie, what's the genus?
Albuga?
Albuga.
Yeah.
She's got all this, she keeps writing things on this little board. So that's Albuga blighti. White rust. No, okay, so there is an important question that's been asked up here, and the question was, would I accept white rust? It's worth a half a point. The same is true for the multicellular parasites. If you can tell me that's a wood tick or that's a rat flea, but you just can't remember the technical name for it, you get half a point for the common name.
And 1.5 points if you put both.
No. You only get extra points for species.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. Those spores, are those spores sexual or asexual?
Asexual.
And what are they called? Sporangia spores. We're still looking at albuga.
It's so fun.
Now we're looking at what genus? Sort of pronounce. We're still in the phylum Mycota. But it's Saprolegnia. So those are the sexual oospores of Saprolegnia. What is the genus here? Rhizopus. This is Rhizopus stolonifer. Or Rhizopus stolonifer. We don't know what it Like, students tell me these things that they, learn to try to remember what the technical names are. So this one is Rhizopus stolonifer. We just don't know what a nipper was. Are those sexual or asexual?
Asexual.
Asexual. And those are sexual. So the asexual ones were sporangiospores, and these are sexual zygospores. Zygospores. So the phylum must be Mycota.
Do
we have to know if it's sexual or asexual?
Yes. For fungi, yes. Because you need to know sexual and asexual. If you're sexual, you need to know zygo, asco, basidium spores. If they're asexual, they're either sporangiospores in a sac, or they're conidiospores, like beads on a string. So what is the genus?
Aspergillus.
Aspergillus. How do we know it's Aspergillus and not penicillium?
Because of the spores inside?
Well, so on the Aspergillus slides, and this is true of the slides in my box because that's where these pictures were taken, the Aspergillus, that's a cleistothecium, that ball, and the Aspergillus cleistothecium is very clean looking. You can actually see the asci inside those brown things that have the ascospores. The penicillium is much less distinctive looking because there's a bunch of hyphae on the slide. They're all over the place. You don't really see any hyphae on the Aspergillus slide. So those are sexual ascospores. That's penicillium. Still sexual ascospores. Notice how much less color. They look a lot smaller because they are. And there's hyphae all over the place. What phylum is that? Ascomycota, because they're sexual ascospores. What kind of spores are those? Sexual or asexual?
Asexual.
Asexual, and they're called? Conidiospores. So that's penicillium, and those are asexual conidiospores. Like the fingers on your hand or broom straws, they're more or less parallel. Whereas Aspergillus, oops, I don't have Aspergillus. Well, they're coming out all over the place, like a dandelion or a push ball. What's the phylum here? Basidiomycota, because those are sexual basidiospores. This particular fungus, we don't have any asexual spores to look at. All we have is basidiospores. This is fleshy fungus. And what's the genus? Coprinus. Now we've changed to a new kingdom. We were in the kingdom fungi, now we're in the kingdom protista. We're still in the domain Eukarya, but the kingdom is now protista. We're putting all the algae and all the protozoa in the kingdom protista, just staying with a very simplistic view of taxonomy with the Whittaker 5-kingdom system minus the kingdom Monera. This is a filamentous green algae. It's green, so the phylum is Chlorophyta. If you're looking at algae, and if you're in doubt, mostly they're Chlorophyta. We have a lot more examples of Chlorophyta than anything else. What's the genus name? Yeah, it's that one that doesn't sound like it. It's pronounced not like it's spelled. It's Aedogonium. Aedogonium. Looks like it's spelled Oedogonium. And what's the genus here? Spirogyra. Still in the domain Eukarya, kingdom Protista, phylum Chlorophyta. This is Spirogyra. Notice there's more than one species there. That makes one of them. What's this? Ulithrix. Ulithrix looks like fish vertebrae in blue. And this one, we're still in the domain Eukarya, kingdom Protista, phylum Chlorophyta. This is a branching filament. It's rather large. This is Cladophora. Or Cladophora, Cladophora, something. Now this one we don't have a genus name for. This is one where you're supposed to know the group name. What's the group name? Desmid. These are desmids. You have two different views of desmids in the slides to study. One they're magnified 10x and one they're magnified 40x. What's the common name for this group? They're diatoms. What's the phylum? So remember that all the algae phyla end in phyta. And then if you think most of those kind of look like rod-shaped bacteria, think bacilla. And then just kind of put bacilla at the front and phyta at the back, and it's Bacillarian phyta. Might work. Bacillaria phyta. It'll work fine if you have the words in front of you, which you will.
Yes.
Oh, wait. What are their walls made out of?
Glass.
Like petri dishes. What's the genus name for this one? Yeah, that's Paradinium. Could be Alexandrium. I think they look very much like it, but it's not. It's Paradinium. What's the phylum name for Paradinium? There's three possible. You can call them Dinophyta, or Pyrophyta, or Dinoflagellata. The term Dinoflagellata is kind of a holdover for when people thought they were protozoa. We think they're algae. But you can use any one of those. Now we've switched to protozoa. We're still in the same kingdom, which is still Protista. Domain is Eukarya, kingdom is Protista. What's the genus? It's Giardia. And the phylum? Archaeozoa. What's getting you? I don't know. Something. It's probably a drainfly. They come up with a drain. So, is this a trophozoite or a cyst?
Trophozoite.
It's a trophozoite. All right. And this one, this is Trichomonas. Our Trichomonas is a lovely violet, and you can see these flagella because it's a flagellar stained slide. The Giardia have flagella also, but you can't see them. And we're going to go ahead and put these in that same phylum, Archaeozoa. They used to be Diplomonadida and Parabacilla, but never mind. Now, what's the phylum here? So this is one of the protozoan phyla that ends in zoa,
Amoeba.
not archaeozoa, it's amoebozoa. Amoebozoa. And the genus is amoeba. That's handy. These are also amoebozoa. However, some references call this phylum Radiolaria. The Radiolarian is the common name for the group. So you can call them Radiolaria, call the phylum Radiolaria or amoebozoa, either one. Seems like to me there's a study guide thing that's on the webpage someplace that also calls them Sarcodyna. That's really old. That's old taxonomy. Anyway, these guys have skeletons, and their skeletons are made of glass. Yes.
So when you say there's like different names, like 3 different phylum names, are those all going to be on the word bank?
Probably.
Okay.
And you can just pick the one you like best.
Okay.
Okay, so this one, we're looking at something that's inside a red blood cell. What's the genus name? Plasmodium. And the species could be Vivax or Falciparum or Malariae or Ovale or Knowlesii. A whole bunch of different species. And that's actually Vivax, but it doesn't matter. What's the class? Phorozoea. This is the class Phorozoea. And the phylum is Apicomplexa. It's a weird phylum name. And this one, the genus is Paramecium. The phylum, Ciliophora. So several of the protozoan phylum names do not end in zoa. Apicomplexa doesn't, Ciliophora doesn't. Don't confuse Paramecium with Euglena. Most of our prepared slides don't have as nice of cilia coverage. This one, you can really see the cilia nicely. But the slide, if I show you Euglena, I will show you the Euglena in the slide where they're not all the same shape, because they don't have a pellicle and they don't have walls, so they can change their shape. Paramecium has a pellicle. That shape is pretty consistent. They look like somewhat fat cigars. And sometimes they're orange, and sometimes they're pink, and sometimes they're blue. And that big brown spot is the nucleus. What are those guys? Genus name? No. These are still in the kingdom Protista. These are still single-celled organisms. Those are trypanosomes. They're having a trypanosome conversation. There's 4 little trypanosomes. So Plasmodium is inside red blood cells. Trypanosoma are between blood cells, but they're both protozoa. What's the phylum for Trypanosoma? It does end in zoa. It's named for the Euglena. It's Euglenazoa. It's named for these guys. So Trypanosomes and Euglena are in the phylum Euglenazoa. And again, this is the slide of Euglena that I will use. They're not green, but you see the changing shape. So some of them are spherical, some of them are linear, some are kind of weird spindle-shaped things. They have flagella, but the flagella are really hard to see. This one, can you see this flagella? Comes down like this. You have a good imagination. You can kind of see it. Okay, now we've changed to a different kingdom. The kingdom now is Animalia. The phylum is Platyhelminthes. These are flatworms. Specifically, there's flukes. They are flukes. There's a practice test thing that says that this is Fasciola hepatica. It's not. How do I know it's not? You see that Cercaria? Cercaria, it has a forked tail. It's It's kind of hard to tell, but that is a fork-tailed cercaria, and the fork-tailed cercaria belong to what genus? Schistosoma. So that's not Fasciola. And that's not either. So that's Schistosoma. Again, you have multiple different species names that you can use. You can use Mansoni, Hematobium. What's the other one? Japonicum. Yes. Now, oh, and I forgot the class. What's the class here? Trematoda. And the class here? Cestoda. So you need to know those two classes. So you have the class Sporozoita, and you have the class Trematoda, class Cestoda. What's the genus? Tania. This is a tapeworm. And what's the phylum? Now we're not looking at Platyhelminthes anymore. We're looking at Ashhelminthes. Again, Ashhelminthes, Nemahelminthes, or Nematoda. There are multiple different phylum names possible for this, the roundworm phylum. What's the genus? Trichinella. So we're looking at larvae in muscle tissue, and they're cut in sections. This one, we're looking at larvae inside the adult worm. What's the genus? Onchocerca. This is Onchocerca volvulus. This one, this is Dirofilaria. So we have a pretty good sized organism between the blood cells. Look how much smaller the blood cells look relative to the parasite when you compare this to Trypanosoma. The Dirofilaria are pretty good size. And now we've moved to a new phylum. We're calling this phylum Arthropoda. So arthropods from here on out. What's the genus? This is Dermacenter. So Derma sent her and her son, the tick. Dermacenter and her son. And this one? Ixodes. Remember there's an X on the tick? Can you see it? There's an X in the name, Ixodes, and there's an X on the tick. Right here. So that's Ixodes damni, ear tick. This is itch mite. Sarcoptes scabiei.
So if we say scabies, that's half point?
Yeah, probably half point for scabies. Sarcoptes scabiei. How about this one?
Rat.
This is the rat. This is Xenoxala, spelled with an X at the front because an X at the front is pronounced with a Z sound. Xenoxala chiopus. Like xylophone. I don't know why. And this one, head louse, Pediculus humanus capitis. The eggs, the nits.
Lindsay has good radar.
When they show up in your children's hair, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. And they will never bring their clothing from the lost and found again. That's it. It's like, nope, never again. Okay, enough of that.
That's like most of the slides. That's most of the slides.